All right, let's go ahead and get started again. Welcome back. Wasn't that keynote the perfect way to start this conference? Thank you, Nathan. Thank you again. Great job. All right, this is my favorite session at the conference because this is where I get to share with you all of the amazing things the OmniUpdate team has been working on over the last 3 years. We're going to start by taking a quick look back. Just a quick look back over the last year, some of the things that we've been doing for you. Then we're going to look at the here and now. We're going to spend all our time looking at version 10. We're going to go through some of the key features, talk about migration, and a little bit more. And then we are going to look at what's next. Look out into the future just a little bit. So we'll start with a quick look back at 2013. 2013 was a huge year for the company that you rely on for its web content management system. We had record sales, we grew in every dimension, we broke every record in the book. We added over 30 new customers in 2013. Many of you are here because you are new customers, and we're so happy to have you here. And there's so much for you to learn this week, in particular, as you start with version 10. And we set several milestones, and we broke through several barriers last year, and we love these milestones, so I wanted to share a couple of them with you now. The first is this one. We now have over 45,000 users of OU Campus. It is a very large community. You are just a very small sampling of what that community looks like. So you are in really good company. You have peers working at institutions across the country, Canada, and Europe. 45,000 users. And this number, you've been really busy updating content on over 13 million pages. If you subscribe to our electronic newsletter, you probably see this number changing every quarter. We broke through 13 million updates. And this number, our developers, our product developers, spent over 20,000 hours developing specifically OU Campus version 10 last year. That's not counting testing and all of the customer support work that was done on the product as well. So we had a huge year. One more number, this one. 234 of your feature requests were fulfilled in 2013 as we released version 10 at the very end of the year. That's a lot of your votes. And that all went into version 10. So 2013 was a huge year. A couple other things that we did last year. One is something that I announced here at our user conference last year, in fact, and it's the Speaker Scholarship Program that we kicked off about a year ago. And this has been a terrific success. And if you don't know what this is, let me explain it to you. The Speaker Scholarship Program is a way for you to attend your industry conference that you're most interested in that's filled with your peers, whether that's High Ed Web, EduCause, EDU Web, the Noel Levitz Conference, whatever that might be. If you don't have the funding to get there and you really want to, submit your session to us, and we will partner with you to try to get you accepted. And if so, we'll get you there. So this is a great way for you to attend conferences that you might not have the funding for otherwise. We also just recently kicked off a new program that we call our Blog Ambassador Program. And we're really excited about this as well. We just launched our first public blog earlier this year. And we want your participation. This is what it looks like. You can visit it on the OmniUpdate.com public site. But we want your participation as well, because we don't just want to talk about ourselves. We want you to talk to the entire community. So if you've got ideas for best practices, some of the things that are working really well for you, we want you to share those ideas. And we've got a deal for you. If you post 4 times in this calendar year, we will waive your registration fees to this conference next year. So hopefully a few of you will take advantage of that and help us write this blog. A couple other things in 2013. In 2012, I mentioned it last year, we were awarded the University Business Magazine Reader's Choice Award for Top CMS. And this was very humbling. We'd never won this award before, and it was really, really exciting. Well, I'm pleased to say that we won it again in 2013. So thanks to all of you who may have voted for us. We really appreciate that. That's pretty terrific. And we won a different kind of award as well just recently. We learned that it was coming last year, but we just found out a few weeks ago that we won a Stevie Award. Now, a Stevie Award is an internationally recognized award, and we won for Customer Service Department of the Year. Now, I don't like to sit here and parade out all of our awards, but this one in particular, I just wanted to share with our Customer Support Department because, as many of you know, they work so hard at what they do to support all of you in such a big way. So we put together a little special video that I wanted to share with you to thank them. We are honored and thrilled to have received a Stevie Award for Customer Service Department of the Year at the annual awards gala in Las Vegas. The Stevie Award has become one of the world's most coveted awards for achievement in business. Organizations and individuals in more than 60 nations have participated in the awards, which are judged each year by several hundred industry experts from around the world.
Our customer support team always strives to go above and beyond. So the Stevie Award is a truly satisfying recognition for all the hard work they do every day. We set high standards for ourselves when it comes to customer response time. Then we set the bar higher each year. As a company, OmniUpdate aims to provide an exceptional customer experience to each of our 40,000 CMS users. And this award recognizes that we're achieving that goal. I'm very proud of my team's accomplishment.
And this is for the guys and gals in the support department.
Andy and his team does such a good job. Thank you guys so much for working so hard, and great recognition of that effort. All right, so that's a quick look back. Now, let's move into today, and let's look at the here and now. And of course, right now, it's all about OU Campus version 10. So we're going to spend some time here. We're going to show you a few things that you might not have known yet about it. Many of you are still in the process of kicking the tires, doing some of the test drives and sandboxes. So we want to make sure that you're fully aware of all the capabilities. And we've got a lot of sessions here at the conference about it as well. But this is a great way to kick things off. I wanted to start with just a quick look back at how we got here. We couldn't have got here without the 12 years of experience in higher education that we've had, and combining that with, just as importantly, some of the modern web technologies that have really just become available to us over the last 3 years. Some of the coolest capabilities on the web have really just come out. So it couldn't have happened any sooner than this. I know we've been talking about version 10 for a little while. And we always want to make sure that you're well aware of things, and we don't want to surprise things on you at the last minute either. So we have purposefully talked about this for some time. But now is the time, and we finally have a really great system because of it. There was a design philosophy that went into this, and we stuck with these 3 tenets that I want to share with you. The first is that we wanted to dramatically improve the usability without changing the user experience. We've gotten so much great feedback from you over the years that the user experience is why your users appreciate it. It's so easy to use. You always tell us this. So we certainly didn't want to change that. We didn't want to make it any more complicated. But we knew we could improve the user experience, and so we did. The second is that we wanted to make it as fast and as responsive to the touch as a desktop application. Now, this was also something that we just couldn't have done a few years ago. And with these new technologies, HTML5 and other things that we've introduced into version 10, we can now do that in a really slick way. And third and finally, we wanted, and this was probably the most ambitious, but we wanted to create an open-ended platform for the entire OmniUpdate community to build upon. And you'll be hearing a lot about the platform as we move forward over the next several years. We've really opened that up in a big way, and you're just getting a taste of that in some of the workshops this year. To do all of this, we had to take the system apart from the bottom up. We started with the data storage layer, and this is an area that we've worked really hard to perfect over the last 12 years, and we figured out ways we could make it even better. But by taking the best of a database and the best of a file storage system, we've blended these two into a fusion storage system that's allowed OU Campus to be so fast on a file level basis just out of the box. We used some new design, we used some new best practices around database technologies to make this even faster. Then, moving a layer up from that, we have the application layer. Now, this is where the workhorse of the system really is. This is where the XSLT transformations are done. This is where the publishing is done, the dependency manager, the workflow, and all of these core components of the system live. This is where we spent a huge amount of time. We were able to get orders of magnitude speed increases in some of the capabilities that were underlying in the system at the application layer. Then, one layer above that, of course, is really where the rubber meets the road, the user interface layer. This is where your customers, your users, get the most benefit and see the most obvious change in the system. Using HTML5 as this core component, we were able to use WebSockets and add drag and drop capabilities, make the system so much more responsive to the touch, like a desktop application. So this is how we did it. The other big thing is that we separated the interface layer from the application layer using APIs. So the entire application layer was built using APIs, meaning the entire application layer can be completely separated from the overall system itself, meaning we can rewrite a new user interface layer whenever we want to. You can create your own user interface layer to use the system as an API to do whatever you want it to do. Every core feature of OU Campus is included as an API. All right, Nathan ended with the top 10 list. I wanted to begin with the top 10 list. So these are the top 10 things that we know you'll love about version 10. These are the things you've been telling us as you've been beta testing it and rolling it out in your test drives and sandboxes, the things you love most about version 10. To begin with, number one, of course, is the new user interface refresh. If you go back 10 years and look at what OU Campus looked like back then and how it behaved and felt, it's changed dramatically. But from version 9 to version 10 is the biggest change of all. This is where we really, really made it simple. And the modern clean design is a big part of that. It just looks simpler. It's easier to do the things you want to do. User avatars make it really great for administrators as you're working with users and groups of users to see who these people are. There's no more frames, and Ajax is used throughout the entire system, which is a big part of that user experience that's just so fast and responsive. There are fewer clicks. We went through the entire system to find where we could make improvements and where we could get people to what they wanted to faster without making them click on things. And the new tree view navigation is something that you as administrators and certain power users will absolutely love. It expands, it accordions out, it's adaptive, responsive, and it moves to the point where when you want it, it's there. If you don't want it, it's not. But it's so much better because it accordions outward through the little triangle openings and so forth so that you can not have to refresh that page every time you want to drill down deeper into a folder. So this was also a huge benefit in the UI. Number two is the new dashboard. The new dashboard looks like this, and it's really, really awesome. We've never really had a good dashboard in the system before, and people never really needed one. But we discovered that there was functionality that we could add through gadgets and other things that we'll talk about in a minute that would be really powerful to have as this dashboard view of your system. So this is what it looks like, and it's got a lot of great capabilities that both end users and administrators can customize to their likings. You can actually drag these around on the screen and customize this window and it'll remember how you like it. Number 3 is drag and drop. And drag and drop is one of those amazing things that we can do now in a browser to make it feel like an application. And it's just really, really nice. So you can drag things right around on the screen. You can drag files into folders. You can drag folders into folders. And you can drag multiple files and folders at the same time. And you can drag between the main content and the tree view and back and forth, saving you lots of time as you're managing files, adding files, and doing things with the file system through drag and drop. Number 4 is drag from desktop. Drag from desktop is another amazing HTML5 capability that allows you to drag files, images, folders of files and images directly from the desktop. And you simply click, drag, and boom. You get a nice feedback at the bottom that the upload was completed in this case. Give you a little warning message if it's going to overwrite something or if you can't upload it for some restrictive reasons. And of course, this is just fluid and natural for your users to add files now to the system. Number 5 is the improved image editor. And this is a big one, I know, for many of you. There's no more Java applet. It's all client-side JavaScript. And that's really important because not only is it just fast and responsive, but as you bring a file in, let's say it's a 4 megabyte image that you took a photo of, and you drag it in there and you start to resize it, it's not going to upload it to the server first. It's going to let you resize it client-side in the browser before it gets uploaded. So you might take a 4 megabyte image and shrink it down and make it perfect, and it ends up being 35K. And then you simply upload it from there. So it's fast, it's responsive, it works on all the modern browsers, and it's really terrific. No more Java applet. Number 6 is notifications. Notifications is just a really slick way to show you as things are happening in the system, whether you're getting a workflow notification or you've just recently started a process and you want to see when it completes, generating a report, or you're uploading a file, as you saw earlier, and it just appears down here at the bottom of the screen. It's really, really nice. Number 7 is actions tracking. We're now tracking all kinds of actions in the system that we weren't tracking before. So you're going to have the benefit of seeing all of the things in reports now that you perhaps wish you could have before, and see some of these things right in the dashboard as you can see activity around publishing, deleting files, and much more. Number 8 is a huge one, binary management. Binaries are now first-class citizens in OU Campus. Binaries of all kinds, images, PDFs, anything else, are now treated as if they're any file in the system, meaning that you've got all of the power and capabilities to not just edit these, but to publish them, send them through workflow, schedule them. They're included in the versioning system. All of this now is afforded to you for binaries, as well as all the other types of content, assets and snippets and content of all kinds, but all the binaries. Number 9 is gadgets. Now, gadgets are something you're going to hear a lot about at the conference, and we've got some workshops on these, and I know a lot of you are signed up for these. Gadgets are probably the coolest thing that we've ever added to the product. Gadgets give you contextual tools in the sidebar and the dashboard. So you can add these tools, some of which we will create and some of which you will create, such that they work in context with whatever it is the user is doing at the time, and they're really, really cool. So they look something like this in the sidebar. So this little window of gadgets can be slid out or closed, and depending upon your screen real estate, because it's a responsive design, it will come and go as you need it. But you can open up this window at any time and see these really great gadgets that are all appropriate for what the user is doing at that moment. For instance, let's say that you're editing, as we are here, in the WYSIWYG editor, a page, and you want to see some images to add to that page. Well, you can simply just click right here on this little button, and it opens up a window which shows you your favorite images. And then you can drag and drop these images directly into the WYSIWYG editor. So imagine, if you will, all of the things that you wish you had right at your fingertips as you're editing a page. Well, now you can add them as gadgets. We will add gadgets. We will take your ideas and create gadgets, but we've also opened this up for you to create gadgets as well. So you can create gadgets that maybe are very specific to the things that you want to do that perhaps nobody else wants to do, and that's okay. If it's a great idea and everybody wants to do it, help us do it, and we'll get it there, we'll get it done as well. So you can add your own functionality, and you can integrate third-party applications. Really, the sky's the limit here. This is a big feature of the product, but a big part of our growth story going forward as we start to connect in other third-party systems, not just through the sidebar, but the dashboard, directly into the user interface. All right, number 10 are the APIs that get us there. So this is how we do it. This is how we extend the platform. This is how we open up OU Campus version 10 as what you think of today as a CMS to a much broader platform for tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow in the roadmap, but I just wanted to give you a taste of what this means today. APIs mean that you can access any OU Campus function. I mean, you name it. It could be the editor, it could be the version control system, it could be workflow. And you can access it remotely from any other system. You can connect to a third-party system. It could be something you've already built. It could be something that you're about to embark on. And you can truly extend the platform beyond what a CMS is defined as today. APIs are going to be a huge part of our story over the next 5 years. There are also over 150 other enhancements and new features in OU Campus, not all of which I can share with you right now. That's just the top 10. But since I know you want to see it, I'm going to start with a demonstration here by our Director of Product Development, Shahab Lashkari. Shahab?
Thanks, Lance.
Thanks.
Thank you. So we've been working, planning and developing version 10 for several years now, and I've had the privilege of being involved with that process. And it's something that we're really, really proud of and really excited to show off. So I'm just going to go through and show you just a few of the things, some that Lance has mentioned and maybe some that he hasn't mentioned. Along the core tenets that Lance mentioned, one of the themes that hopefully will show through as you're using version 10 is that we've kept all of the great functionality that people love about OU Campus. We've just made it better with version 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here. As a content editor, you get into OU Campus the exact same way. You just navigate directly to the page that you want to edit. You find your direct edit link. In this case, it's the last updated date stamp on Galena University. I can go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to log in. So of course, you can tie your login to Active Directory, LDAP, or you can use single sign-on with CAS or Shibboleth. All of those options are still available. I know we talk about the new user interface a lot. It's kind of hard not to. As soon as you look at OU Campus version 10, that's the first thing you notice. A couple things that I'm really proud of that we've accomplished in version 10 is we've really streamlined the interface to focus on the content. So wherever possible, we're actually showing more of your content on the screen at a given moment. And another thing that's really important is we've actually increased font sizes by almost 2 points everywhere in the entire product. So thank you. So things are actually easier to see, fonts are larger, and yet we're still showing you more information. So you might be thinking, okay, how is that even possible? Lance sort of hinted at this. We're actually using more of the screen real estate. So we're adapting to these modern widescreen displays, and we're actually showing you more content whenever possible. So here I am. I'm within the CMS. Of course, I've got all of my privileges set, so I can choose a particular region that I have access to. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into the main content region here. I've got my same great WYSIWYG experience, but I also have here gadgets. And so I just want to show off a couple gadgets real quick to give you an idea of the types of things that you can accomplish with the gadgets that we've already got, and hopefully inspire you for some of the types of gadgets that can come. So this page looks a little bit bare. I want to throw in an image. Maybe I want an image with a caption. And of course, if you leave a content editor to do that, most likely what most content editors do is they think, OK, I need a table with 2 rows, and I'm going to put the image in the top row and the caption in the bottom row. And we as web developers will, of course, cringe at that because it's not the appropriate semantic markup. It's not what we want to go out on the website. So we've had this great feature called snippets, and you can provide content, starter blocks of content that people can drop right into the product. But now we've got this snippets gadget. So I can preview what a snippet's going to look like. In this case, I have a placeholder image. It's a right-aligned image. I'm just going to go ahead and insert that right here. So I've got that gadget, or I'm sorry, I've got that snippet right here in my content. I've got a placeholder image. OK, I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to jump into my images gadget, and I'm going to select an image. This one looks pretty good. I'll get a preview of that one, and we'll insert that one right over there. So let's, of course, make sure we have the appropriate image description. Students in the North Quad. I can go ahead and update that, drop it right in there. Of course, I want to update the caption as well. And now I've got my image as well as my caption right there. I was able to see visually very quickly from the gadgets. I can actually drag things in if I wanted to as well. Makes it just easier for end users to work with content without having to jump around or navigate to other locations or remember, oh, which button was it in the toolbar that did this one thing. Lance also mentioned that gadgets are context aware. And this is huge. So what this really means is that we're proactively giving users access to the right tool at the right time. So here I'm in the WYSIWYG editor. I'm actually working on content. So it makes sense to have access to snippets or images. But if I'm outside of the editing experience, it may not make sense to drag an image onto a file system. So that particular gadget won't show up for me. It's not going to CRUD up my user interface when it's not relevant for the task that I'm performing. So really being proactive and making sure that the users know what tools are relevant for their specific task was a huge part of developing gadgets. But it's not all about content and building content. There are also useful tools here, things like page info. So I've got my page. I'm working with my content. And of course, I've got reusable content in here. So I've got an asset down here with the student enrollment count. And I've got that here. But maybe I want to know where else is that being used. So this tool actually shows me all of the items that my page is dependent on. So if I'm linking to other pages, I'm now dependent on that page. So I'm actually linking to the resources page. So I can see that my page now depends on this other page. Additionally, the assets. But we also have information about these dependencies. So I can just look up a particular asset, and I can see these 3 pages here are also using that student enrollment count. So right from my content, I don't have to jump out to another report or move through the file system and find these things. Right here, while I'm working on the content, I can quickly get access to the information that's relevant. Let's say I wanted to update that number. Well, hey, I've got this keyboard shortcut. I can Command-S, save that page. That was available in version 9. But I can also just jump straight to the gadget, or I'm sorry, straight to the asset. So I can jump straight there and edit this asset very easily and quickly as well. So making things just easier to work with within OU Campus. OK, so let's actually jump back a few items here. I'm going to go back to that education page. I have a gadget here for my checked out content. So here's all the stuff that I've been working on. I can jump straight to that education page. And here I am on the preview of that page. One thing I want to do before I check that, before I publish that content is check the preview. So I've saved the page. I'm previewing it here in the staging environment of OU Campus. Of course, everything looks good. I've got my top navigation. I've got my side navigation, my content's updated with my image. But maybe I want to see what this looks like in other browsers or operating systems. So we've had this function called multi-browser preview already. And with multi-browser preview in the past, in version 9, we've had roughly 20 browser and operating system combinations. So you can see different browsers in both Mac OS and Windows and get previews and screenshots of what that page is going to look like. Well, again, we've kept all of the great features. We've just made them better. So here in version 10, I've got hundreds of options as far as specific operating system versions and specific browser versions. But if I scroll down, I also have mobile devices. So now I can get an idea of what this page is going to look like on, say, an iPhone 4S versus an iPhone 5S, or maybe a Nexus 4 or a Nexus 7 tablet. So being able to provide these screenshots for you and show you exactly what your content's going to look like before it ever goes live on the page really helps to make sure that that content is the best possible way to go out on the live site. Of course, if you're using a responsive design, you have the ability to preview what that's going to look like right from within the preview as well. So here I can see, without having to resize my browser or go out to other devices, I can see very quickly exactly what that's going to look like at specific breakpoints. OK, so I've worked on my page. I've previewed it. Everything looks great. Now it's time to publish. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the Publish button. And we go through the same options that we've had in version 9. We've got Final Check, a great way to sort of have a pre-flight checklist of your content before it goes live. So I can run through and check all of the spelling on the page. I can check all of the links on the page. I can do the W3C validation and check the accessibility as well. But from here, I also have the ability to schedule this page to go live. So maybe I've remembered once I hit this that, hey, I actually want this to go live at a later date and time. I can choose that date and time right here. I can schedule it. I can actually schedule it to recur and repeat publishing over time. And I also have the ability to send a tweet out to Twitter or create a Facebook wall post as well. So sending to Twitter and sending to Facebook with direct integration to these social media channels was always an important part of OU Campus as well. But I just want to show you a slight change that we've done here as well. So education is important at GU. And I'll go ahead and create that URL to link people back to this page, because of course we know that while your website is perhaps your most important marketing tool, it's not necessarily where people go first to find information about your institution. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that. Again, you'll notice notifications telling me very quickly that the publish is in process. Now it's done. I can view this page in a new window. It's live on the website. It's always instant. If anything, it should feel faster in version 10 as well. But I'm going to jump out to Facebook. And you'll notice now that we're actually taking advantage of the metadata that's available to that page. So whereas before you may have just seen the text and just a quick link, now we're actually submitting the metadata to Facebook as well. And so if you're tagging your content with Open Graph tags, and there's a great session on how to do that later in this conference as well, you can get more information along with that link. So it's just more engaging as you're sending this information out. OK, so we've talked a little bit about drag and drop and the new user interface. I just want to show a few of these tools. So if I jump into a folder here, of course, I've got all of my files. I can pop out my sidebar. So I've got that tree view navigation. So again, I can easily flip through here, find any particular folder or file that I want, and jump straight to it. Or let's say I wanted to move a particular file, I can actually drag it anywhere in here. And the system's actually going to show me visually what's an acceptable place to drop that. So I can't drop a file onto another file. It doesn't really make sense. So the system shows me these are the folders that you can drop this into. And of course, if I let go on accident, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to do that? And of course, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to hit cancel here. But another thing we've done is we've actually changed this sidebar to include assets as well. So you have quick access to all of your assets from anywhere within the system, not just the files. So making sure that you can get to your content much easier and much more quickly. I also want to show off very quickly how we can take that content and drag an image right onto it. So here I'm going to take several files, some images, and I'm going to drag them right onto the application. So right from my desktop, I'm dragging these images. You'll see very quickly it popped up at the bottom saying it was uploading those images. And just like that, I've uploaded those images right into the CMS. So here I've got my images. They're now uploaded into OU Campus. I'm going to go ahead and just select one. So I'm going to click on that image, and up comes the built-in image editor. So as Lance mentioned, no more Java applet, no more separate application that has to load. It's right here within the CMS. I can go ahead and crop this. I actually have the ability to choose an aspect ratio if I want to when I'm cropping. So let's say I know that I need a 4:3 image. I can lock that aspect ratio to 4:3, move it around. I can actually resize it, and it'll stay with that aspect ratio. So making things easier for end users to be able to work with content was also a huge part of these design tenets. From here, I can then save the file if I have permissions to overwrite the file, or I can save as and create a new file as necessary as well. So I'm going to jump out of there. I'm going to go straight to the dashboard. We've talked about gadgets. We've talked about sidebar gadgets primarily, all of these options that are available. But the dashboard is really your heads-up display of what's going on in the CMS. So I'm an administrator. I can see all of the activity. I can see what's being published, what's being uploaded throughout the CMS. I have access to this information. I can get a quick glance of what's going on. I also have my checked out content and, of course, my inbox information. And as Lance mentioned, I can drag and drop, move these things around. I can customize it and make it really fit my needs. And these are just a few of the gadgets that we have. We've, of course, got a huge list of gadgets on our roadmap that we plan to create, and we're really, really excited. We've got almost a full day of workshops on Thursday on how to create gadgets and how to use the APIs. And I'm personally very excited to see what comes out of those sessions as far as what you guys are going to be able to create. I promise you, if you come and pay attention to the How to Build a Gadget class, you'll leave that class having the knowledge to actually build a gadget that you could use that day. Just a couple quick things. We've streamlined the navigation as well. So we've moved some of the items around, and that's part of the training that, of course, you'll have to go through with your users. But we believe that things are way more intuitive now. So gone is the admin tab, and now we have a reports tab. So all of the items that were reports from maybe the setup tab or from the content tab or from the admin tab, we've consolidated into this universal reports tab. And now it's not just available for assistant administrators or administrators. Regular end users that may not have administrative access can still access many of these reports. They'll just see the information that's relevant to them. They won't see the information for all users. They'll see the information for their specific account. So being able to provide more useful information and empower the end users with that content is also very huge. But as an administrator, I can do more things as well. I have the ability to very quickly and easily jump to sites. So if I'm managing 50 sites or 100 sites, I can quickly search with this filter and get to another site. I can jump straight to it by clicking on the site. I have the ability to go in and set up my users. So here within the CMS, I have my list of users. I have filtering in every list in the CMS. So if I want to filter on just level 8 users, I can do that. Of course, I'm going to see their full name, their username, and any Gravatar image or user image that they've provided as well. Here I can just select these 2 images, all of my level 8 users, and I have the ability to create a group from that right here. So I can say, okay, these are my designers. And now I've got that group created. I don't have to go bouncing through different UIs to try to get that. Again, all of the great functionality that our customers love about OU Campus, just better. The last thing I want to show is another administrative feature, but I think this is really cool for web developers. We've had this find and replace feature, a really powerful tool to actually go through and edit and find and replace source code. So we've taken that approach. We've added to it now the ability to search and replace assets. So if you want to do find and replace operations on assets, you can do that. We've also added the ability, and just to show you this, to preview the results before it actually happens. So I can select all of my files, and I can preview the replace operation. It's going to give me a report and show me all of these instances that it's going to change before I actually do anything to any of these files. So making things just a little bit safer for your end users and for your developers to make sure that your content is always in the best appropriate way. Of course, I could go on and on and on about version 10, and I'm sure I will be talking many of your ears off during lunch and at many of these sessions. So we're really, really excited about version 10. We're really happy to really unleash that and to see what you guys not only think of it, but what you do with it as we extend OU Campus out as a platform. So I just want to thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to Lance. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Shahab. Thanks very much. All right. So that's a quick demo. You'll see a lot more of it this week. Now let's talk for a moment about transitioning to version 10. Many of you have large groups of people using version 9 right now, and I want to introduce our Vice President of Customer Support, Andrew Soderberg, to introduce you to how easy it is to transition into version 10. So Andy, why don't you join me?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lance. Okay. Transitioning to v10. Well, really, there's just 5 simple, easy steps that you'll need to go through to get ready to transition to v10. Number 1, we want you to do a little homework and read the OCN articles we posted. How many people here are OCN members? Raise your hands. I don't see everybody. If you are not an OCN member, make sure, if you don't know what the OCN, the OmniUpdate Community Network is, send an email to support@omniupdate.com and ask to get invited. It's a private social network where we communicate with you and you communicate with each other and share information. This is where all the articles are about transitioning to v10. So we want you to read these articles. It's important. All the information you need is going to be there. They include preparation to move, the transition timeline, FAQs from the workshops that we did, the WebEx sessions that we had, what's new in v10, more details on that. New one we just added this weekend is planning for using Binary Manager and how to get your binaries under management. You know, we've got that great new feature, and so how am I going to get all my binaries into OU Campus? That's talked about there. And of course, watch the WebExes that we've recorded. We're going to have a training Tuesday, last Tuesday of this month, which will be all about the end user experience in version 10. Number 2, make a choice. Pick a sandbox or a test drive so that you can train your users. Well, what does that mean? What's a sandbox? What's a test drive? A sandbox, you've seen our Galena University site, our famous Galena University site. A sandbox is simply a copy of that site that we can set up for you in about 2 days. We also supply the production web server for it, so it's totally self-contained. You can just ask for it, and we can set it up, and you can train your users using that if you want. But if your users are going, I got to work in the templates that I know, instead you can also choose a test drive. Now, a test drive is a site in one of your accounts that you choose to be copied over into version 10 that you'll use to train your users. Now, the problem, though, it's not a problem. Additional work necessary for you on your end to implement this. Your IT team is going to need to make a copy of the production website that site publishes to and set it up fresh so that your users, when you're training, they're not writing over top of the live site that otherwise your visitors are at. So you want to make a copy of that production server. We'll make a clone of the site that you need, and now you can be training your users in v10 with their templates that they're familiar with. So make a choice, and once you've made that choice, then let us know. Send an email to support, tell us which one you want, and we'll schedule it in there for you. Number 3, fix required actions. What's that mean? Well, if you're admins, you know that there's a required actions report in the admin tab in v9, and that will report any pages that have dependencies that have been broken through people deleting pages.
Now, if you're on top of that, and we talk about change and Nathan's site, if you're staying on top of your changing website and you're correcting this, then you're good. But if you haven't looked at that report in a while, you're going to want to go and look at that report and work on removing and correcting those broken links that you'll find in your site. Now, if you don't do this, nothing bad is going to happen. Except that those broken links will still be broken links once you transition. The issue is that doing it now is better than later because the history log about where that broken link was originally linked to is gone. That log data will not be in version 10. So you're better off getting your broken links and your dependencies fixed before going into v10 rather than later. So 4, train your users by account. Now what does that mean? OU Campus accounts, you may have many sites. You might have 2 sites, you might have 200 sites in an account. The common thing about that account is all users are common to that account. When we are transitioning and moving folks from version 9 into version 10, our transition tool is account bound. So you need to work on training your users based on their membership in accounts. So not by site. Now, if you've got a lot of accounts, you're going to want to train by account or sets of accounts, and then we can move those accounts into version 10 at your discretion when you're ready for that. But if you try and train by site, and this, site 1, 3, and 5, and then later 2, 4, and 6, can't do that. All the sites in a given account will move from version 9 to version 10 at the same time. Once you've trained your users, we've set up a new learning management system that you can use to quiz or test your users to make sure that they understand and know how to use version 10 and are ready for that switch. So Charity's team has done a great job of setting this up, and it'll be set up possible so that you can actually create your own training testing materials in the LMS that can be customized to your content materials as well. Once you've done that training, we can just schedule those accounts to be moved. So large schools that have lots of accounts, do it by account, and then we'll set up a schedule at your discretion to move account by account or account sets across to version 10 as you're ready. That way you don't have to go through and train all 200 users, and then by the time you're done, the first 25 people have forgotten half of what they learned and they're going to be calling your help desk again, etc. So do it by account. 5, contact us when you're ready for the power of v10. Basically, it's simple that let us know and we'll move you. So let's recap the 5 easy steps. 1, read the documents, get ready to understand all the details. Obviously, you can see me and others throughout the week to ask additional questions if you'd like. Pick a sandbox or a test drive. Fix those dependency broken tags on your pages so it'll be easier to deal with before rather than after. Train your users by account membership. And then contact us when you're ready to take the power of v10. Okay? Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. So easy, right? We're going to make it really easy for you to move to version 10. Now let's talk about the transition period for a moment. So this is unusual because with all prior versions of OU Campus, 1 through 9, when we released that new version, we moved everybody all at once into that new version. This is a little different. And it was such a big change that we wanted to allow you to train your users, to take advantage of our training department, and to make sure that you moved in at your pace. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to move from version 9 to version 10 over a period of time, which begins now and goes through the end of the year. So we don't want to leave any OU Campus version 9 user behind. We want you all to be using version 10 by the end of this year. Now, as Andy said, it's really easy to do, and we're here for you every step of the way. In fact, our training and support department put together a little video to lift your spirits a little bit here.
It's a very exciting time for all of us in the support team because we get to guide our customers as they transition into version 10. There's one thing we want all of our customers to know. We're here for you every step of the way.
When your institution is ready to take the first steps, We will give you the information you need to prepare for the transition.
When you're ready to go a few steps further, we'll deliver the materials so you can introduce version 10 to your administrators, your trainers, and your end users.
When you're ready for the final push, we'll be there to move everything. Your content, your templates, and your settings into version 10.
When you have questions, we'll be there.
When you need help, we'll be there.
And when you publish that first page in version 10, we'll be there, celebrating with you.
We know you're eager to start using the incredible new features and the enhanced functionality of OU Campus version 10. We can't wait to start this journey with you.
All right. So we've got this great support department that's there for you every step of the way, and we're ready to start right now. I know some of you have already started, but we've got a lot of you to move, so let's do it. Okay, so that was today. Now, let's take a peek at the future. Let's look at what's next. And what's next, of course, is a lot more on the roadmap for version 10. So let's talk about a few of those things. We also have a roadmap session tomorrow where the developers will be up here talking about some of the things that they're working on and taking some of your questions. But let's start by talking about a few of the big things that are on the roadmap just around the corner. The first is multi-channel analytics. Now, I introduced this last year at the conference, and this is something that you're going to love. We know it already. This is web and social analytics site-wide for you as administrators and per page as content editors work on those pages. Multi-channel analytics. And this is what it looks like. So here's a gadget in the dashboard showing multi-channel analytics that you as administrators might use all the time. And you can see there's a mashup of all kinds of things on here. Google Analytics, social media analytics, and some really unique analytics that you couldn't get from either one by itself. Because the content management system is aware of what your users are doing, when they're making changes, what version is published, there's a lot of information that we can give you that you wouldn't get straight out of Google Analytics, for example. So you've got Google Page Analytics as just an easy one-off for anyone looking at a page that they're editing. We've got social media analytics from Twitter, Facebook, and others that we'll continue to add. And we've got analytics by page version, so you can see which page is performing best on Google Analytics. So for example, here we can see that the pages since the last publish, the CMS knows when that page was last published. So we can set that as a time parameter. And then you've got this drop down here to allow you to change that to last day, last month, last year, and other standard analytics as well. That's really cool. We've also got things like trends by page views. So here we can see the page views by visitor, by version, so that your versioning system is actually operating to your advantage to show you what's happened in a trend over time. Pretty cool. Something you could only get because it's connected to the CMS. And here's some social media analytics. So you've got some Twitter activity and some Facebook activity. And this is all interactive, so you can hover over these various bars on the graph and see the changes in a really slick user interface. So site-wide analytics in the dashboard, particularly for administrators that you can customize in the dashboard. Page-specific analytics while editing pages. Really awesome for your end users. You're going to love multi-channel analytics in version 10. Next is OU Campus Mobile. This is anywhere, anytime OU Campus administration on a mobile device. So an adaptive, responsive app that you can use wherever you are to administer OU Campus. And here's what it looks like. You can, of course, create this as an icon on your phone or your tablet. This is using the version 10 APIs and a mobile web app for you as administrators of OU Campus. So again, this is just one example of something that can be done with the APIs. A whole new experience, a whole new application for the product because we have these APIs. So some examples here, you would simply log in very easily here, just as an administrator would. And then you've got some site stats, page stats, group stats, user stats, all right here at your fingertips, no matter where you are. You can see user avatars. So as you manage users, which is a common thing to do as an administrator, you can do this on the go and you can see their avatars as well. And you can do things like unlock users, which is probably a more common request than you care to admit, as people forget their password too many times and lock themselves out of the system. But you can now do this wherever you might be. OU Campus Mobile is a great system. There's much, much more to it. But this is just one example of some of the things that are coming, and one that I think you're going to find really useful right away. All right, let's talk about modules and services for a moment. We have a lot of modules and professional services that we offer to you. Some of you have taken great advantage of some of these, and some of you perhaps don't even know about them. So I wanted to introduce a few, and I wanted to introduce a few new ones for you and talk about that roadmap going forward. The first one that we rolled out a couple of years ago that many of you have taken great advantage of is something we call our mobile website service. This is a plug-and-play template for you to use to make your site adaptive and responsive. Key pages on your site become adaptive and responsive by simply asking for a mobile site. So we do this for you as templates. We look at your traffic. We help you figure out what's the best way to go. You might be in the middle of a website redesign to make your entire site adaptive responsive, and that's okay, but why wait? If you can do it in OU Campus templates, have this done, editable right away, you've got it. So we've got a lot of customer examples of this. Let me share with you. The first here is College of DuPage. Beautiful site. Yeah. Beautiful site with a little help from our partner at M. Stoner, a lovely mobile responsive design here. So really nice. You can see, you can click on these buttons. It looks like the site. You've got an admissions link right there on the home page. You've got programs listed right here on the home page as well. And events tied right into the events page. Isn't that beautiful? Another example from our friends at Skidmore. Skidmore in the house, yeah. Another beautiful site, admissions pages, maps, athletics pages, all beautifully designed, simple, easy to drop in and use right away in OU Campus. Another example from our friends at John Cabot. John Cabot here, all the way from Italy. Hey. So here we've got a request for more information right on the home page of this site. Again, adaptive, responsive to the type of device that they're looking at. Here's one for student life with links directly to the dining services. Italy. And here's one for social media with a link directly to a beautiful mobile version of Facebook. And here's one from our friends at WKU. So here, WKU did something really nice as well and kind of novel. The entire display of their screen, of their mobile site, changes based upon what's going on with their emergency alert system. So it happens to be a snow day, it looks like there, and so that everyone knows it now, right when they come to their mobile site. Now, of course, they can still get to all the content below that, but this just changes instantly. So whoever is using this as an admitted student, perhaps trying to decide if they should make their way through the snow, they can do so. And some great examples of some of the other pieces of this, including departments, events, a beautiful virtual tour from our friends and partners at NewCloud. Look at that. Mobile responsive design there for their virtual tour. Some great examples of some of the mobile sites that we've done for some of our customers. We would love to help you with this as well. This is an easy to do drop-in for your templates to simply make the pages that you need to have adaptive and responsive done right away. Second thing I want to share with you is course catalog. We've done some terrific course catalogs for some of you, and I'm just floored every time I see the capabilities that come out of these. You know, the course catalog is one of these challenges that we face because we know we have it, we just can't display it very well, it seems, on our websites. So here's an example from our friends at College of DuPage again, and they've got a beautiful adaptive, responsive design as well, but they've also got this great course catalog. Now, the thing that's a challenge about the course catalog is you can just dump something out of a database and look at it if you can get that data. But we've figured out how to connect that in to the OU Campus experience so that you can blend in all sorts of additional content with that. And we can connect into a variety of data sources, including Banner from Ellucian, Colleague, now part of Ellucian, PeopleSoft from Oracle, Genzabar and CurricuNet. So all of these we've figured out how to do because we've worked with you, and we can do these quickly and easily now for all of you. So if you're interested in creating a beautiful course catalog that pulls data, mashes it up with some of the key information that you want to add, marketing information perhaps, because you're really showcasing in a beautiful way on your website all of the courses and majors that you offer, you can do so. Let me show you a couple of examples here. Again, College of DuPage has a really nice one. They used Colleague from Ellucian, and we were able to connect in, get that data, and present it in a way that was unpresentable before. Also, a PDF of the entire course catalog is generated whenever content is changed so that it's always up to date. And OU Campus spins this out, it paginates it, and it makes a beautiful PDF out of the entire course catalog. Another example here from our friends at Harper College. And Harper has their system in CurricuNet, so we figured this out as well, and we can pull that data in and mix it up and make it right. Here's one from Dutchess Community College. Dutchess uses Banner, now part of Ellucian. And here's one from our friends at Fresno State. Beautiful course catalog from Fresno State. Fresno State is PeopleSoft, and many of you I know use PeopleSoft from Oracle. So this is probably a very good example for you to look at. And we've got a session on this. I think it's later today, in fact. So you might want to check this out. But they did a beautiful job. In fact, as you select a department, you get all the department information. Some of this is being pulled directly out of PeopleSoft, and some of it's being mashed up with some unique content that's available in OU Campus for them to make this more presentable. And then you've got your courses here, and you can drill down and click on individual courses and get more information about them. Requirements for that major, and this is beautifully presented within the system and displayed for marketing purposes to attract and speak directly to prospective students and their parents. You've got information about the faculty, which is shared amongst various different departments perhaps, all intelligently laced together. You've got a wonderful roadmap creator here for individuals to go in and select courses that they might take each year to develop this example of what their curriculum might look like over a 4-year roadmap. And some career expectations, all individualized for each department. This is a wonderful example of what I think every course catalog should look like on all of your campuses. This is just a terrific way to present this to the world. And of course, it's mobile, it's adaptive, responsive, and of course, it's a beautiful PDF. This is actually a 900-page PDF that loads instantly whenever a visitor comes to the site. Beautiful graphics, pagination, all of this entire PDF was generated by the OU Campus system using XSLFO. Every time something changes, they can adapt, they can republish it. It takes seconds to republish it, they can archive it, but they've got this wonderful electronic PDF version of their course catalog as well. All right, another example, similar, is a faculty directory. Here's an example from our friends at UC Riverside. I know there's some UC Riverside people here. A bunch of you. So faculty directory, similar problem. You've got data sources that live external to the CMS. We can connect into those, pull that content in, display images of the faculty, and make this look really good. Here's another example from our friends at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Nicely done, adaptive, responsive, just a gorgeous way to showcase some of the most killer assets that your institution has that should be publicly made available in a beautiful way to the rest of the world. So faculty directory is another module that we can provide you. OU Backup. OU Backup is something that I introduced here last year, in fact, and this is a great disaster recovery for your website. So this is something that you can rely on us upon to have a complete copy of your website, and should disaster strike, you can have the entire website back up and running very quickly. So this is a great service from someone. You rely on us for your web content management system. We create huge caches of your content all the time. Well, ask us about OU Backup for a complete backup service that can be brought online whenever you need it. Interactive campus maps, something from our friends and partners at NewCloud. This is a terrific module that you can buy from us that provides you with an interactive campus map, a virtual tour, if you will, of your campus. So for example, here we have a campus map here from USC, University of South Carolina, for those of you that are in California and thinking something else. And here you can see you've got various different points of interest on the map that you can just simply click on and move directly there, play videos, look at photos, learn more about these stops along the way. Move back to the map, navigate around the map a little bit. It's adaptive, it's responsive for mobile devices. Click on another section on that map and navigate into that. So a really easy way to get your interactive campus map, your virtual tour, all of those things, or improve the one that you already have. This is a really terrific service. We've partnered with NewCloud on this for a couple of years now, and it's just a great product. All right, get ready for more, because as we extend the platform, as we allow for more functionality to be brought in through gadgets and through APIs, we're going to add a lot of things as modules and additional services that tie into other systems as well. And you're going to see a lot of this over the year and over the coming years beyond that. One of the things that we've been trying to figure out how to do is ask you for what it is that you need. So we're really good at listening here at the conference, but we want you to continue to voice your ideas throughout on the OCN, on User Voice, and other places. But let us know what you want. The first thing that we've got that we're really excited about doing, that we've heard a lot from you about, is something that we're now launching today called OU Mashup. OU Mashup is a custom interactive social hub. This is something I know a lot of you are challenged with right now, is how do you integrate social media into your website in a nicely done way? Well, this is a great new module for you. It's basically taking social media APIs and your design, and it's building in a beautiful social hub for your students to see that's live, that's interactive, and it is just a great way to mash up all of your social content, whether it's curated or uncurated, however you want to do it. It's a great example, and this is something that actually we've just done for Cascadia Community College. Here's another one that you maybe have seen. This is on the mobile site that we just told you about this morning, OUTC14. It's a mobile-friendly site. You can also just use it directly on your mobile device or on a desktop. But this is one of those mashups themselves. So we're seeing a lot of these now. This is becoming a common best practice to do. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to simply go to my browser here. Here, let's start with Cascadia Community College. So on the Cascadia homepage, we've got some trending news down here. Now, this was before OU Mashup. This was done with What's New Live scripts. So this was showing trending news coming from their RSS feed. But they wanted more. So now they have YouTube, WordPress, their standard RSS news feed, as well as Twitter and Facebook right here on the homepage displaying the latest and greatest information. But I can click here on trending and go directly to that mashup of all of those social media. And I can then click through and see each one of these. And all of these are, of course, going to update in real time. Now, it might seem simple, but it's a very powerful way to bring together a lot of the discussions that are happening that you want to expose on your website. Again, it can be perfectly curated, as it is done here with Cascadia Community College, where they're actually only displaying their particular accounts and things that they've favored, so that those are the ones that show up. Let me show you another example. Here we are on our fictional Galena University website. Well, notice this animates, and it allows you still to filter based upon specific things. Here's just the Twitter feed, the Google Plus feed, the Facebook feed, Flickr, YouTube, Instagram, all of this right here on our fictional Galena University website. If I go to the OmniUpdate 2014 user conference page, OUTC14, we've got the same thing. So if you've been using the mobile app on your phone today, this is actually what you're seeing. Here on a larger screen, we can see that we can click through and limit the view just to our Twitter or Instagram accounts and see just those images. Click through, of course, and see them in full screen, or mash them all up together and see them all at once. So this is live, this is open, this is actually done using a hashtag search. So all of this is really what you're doing right now. Now I can also show you a curated version of this. Whoops. So here's a curated version, meaning these are just the accounts from us. So this is actually the OmniUpdate Twitter account. Now how do we curate it? Well, we retweet what we like, or we favor what we like on other social media services. And therefore, we can include only the tweets that we're interested in seeing. And we can see the Instagram tweets here as well. So you can have the perfectly stylistic design that you prefer that matches your website, that is curated, and you can have something that is a little more animated, and you can set up the parameters so that it animates the way you want to. Now this is a module because what it allows you to do is drop this into any template and allow your users to turn it on and off on any page. So it becomes available to them by design as a part of the system. We call it OU Mashup. And OU Mashup is available today. So this is our first new module that we're rolling out here at the conference. But we've got a lot more coming in this area. One of the ones that I wanted to talk to you about is, we asked you a little while ago, over the last year in fact, how else can we help you? And you tell us we've got this great customer service department and we can do amazing things. Well, what else can we do for you? And we got a lot of your feedback. We got a lot of great answers. So we're putting together something that we call our concierge services. Meaning, if you dream of it, we can probably help you do it. If it fits into our business model, if it's something that we can actually provide for you as a service, let us help you do it. So this could be a number of different things. Here's a little mashup of some of what that might be. But design, we'll work with some of our fabulous design partners, whether that's at Noel Levitz or any of our other partners that do design. Hosting, template work, outsourced webmaster programs. We've talked to some of you about that. Optimization of SEO, research, strategy work, integration, view books, personalization, a big area of concern for some of you, I know. We can help you do these things either directly through our support department or through our fabulous partners that we work with. So this is something that we're really excited about and we'll be talking more about over the next couple of months. So let's look at a quick roadmap here, and then we'll go to lunch. So this year, over the next 4 quarters, we've got a variety of things. First and foremost, we've got gadgets. We've got gadgets that we'll be releasing every quarter this year, and we'll probably even accelerate that a little bit more toward the end of the year because we're going to get a lot of your feedback, I know, very quickly. Here at the conference, you'll be excited about the ability to create your own gadgets, but I know a lot of you will just ask us, hey, can you please include this as a part of the product? So we're really excited about gadgets, and you'll see a lot of these from us over the year. Then, here we are in Q1, and we've got OU Mashup already announced. So this is something that's available to you today. We've also got analytics coming in Q2. So a mashup of Google and social analytics in version 10. Our concierge services, we expect to start rolling this out next quarter. So we'll give you more information about this as it comes. OU Campus Mobile then in Q3 and in Q4, if we can get it out by the end of the year, a software development kit to allow you to do even bigger projects using our APIs. So we are really excited about 2014, and we know it's going to be another huge year for us. And we're excited to have you here this week. So thank you very much. Lunch begins now in the garden room.